Oh, we about to do some show.
Hey,
up in
y'all.
here.
Hey, y'all. All right, here we go. I even used the commercial from that game because that game just won't leave my head. It's also one of the only ones that had a commercial. But anyway, here it is. It's time in 3, 2, 1.
They stole your mind. Get it back with Total Recall for Nintendo, based on the blockbuster movie. Total Recall from Acclaim, the action game you'll never forget.
Oh, I don't know.
What was it again? What was it?
Total Recall.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, forget. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Play Retro, where we talk about old video games, and we do it with panache and style. I'm your host, Scott Johnson, and I love how we can make rated R mean rated rad in video games.
Oh, very good. And I'm your other host, Brian Dunaway, and I won't be back. No time soon to play any more of these games unless I get a hankering for some of that feet health monitoring gameplay. Okay, I'll be back. I'll be back.
Feet health. I like that.
Feet health, Die Hard, NES.
Yep.
Had that one game mechanic that I'd never seen before in another game.
It's really weird. I don't think any other game that I know of has feet health mechanics.
I cannot recall another single one. Nope.
No. That's a bad video game. We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about the rated R games of our youth. How rated? Well, more like this. The games weren't rated R. How did they take these rated R movies, which were kind of hardcore, and then turn them into kid-friendly NES titles? Not only that, why did some of them get released before movies came out and had virtually nothing to do with the films they were based on?
Yeah.
And why did some come out after movies and seem to be based on the films a little bit more? There's a lot to say. It is. And before you get upset, this is we title this one R-rated action star power on the NES. And the reason why we had to put that star power in there was to delineate from the many R-rated movies that made it to the NES. So we're just talking about those mid-'80s to mid-'90s action stars like Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, and, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not that we won't mention more, but that's where I kept my feet grounded. Yeah, that's where we are with this. Me, same as me, and those are the ones I played.
Same as me.
Yeah, same as me. Some of them are terrible. Some of them are all right. But we'll get to that here in a minute. But first, I wanted to do a little telling you about something today. So Bill Duran came on another show this Tuesday, and
that's the Punished Props guy.
That's the Punished Prop guy. PunishedProps.com is where you go to look at his cool work. And this dude's like a master prop maker. He makes all kinds of cool 3D printed stuff, along with like hand carved things and all kinds of amazing work. He's just insane. And he came on the show the other day and talked about a couple of channels on YouTube that do nothing but restore old consoles from like near death to like functioning and pretty again. And I'm
retro brighting and the whole deal, huh? We're scraping out dirty dead bugs.
Oh yeah, like look at this Genesis. I'm showing the chat right now. It's a Mega Drive, really nasty, freaking Mega Drive that needs serious work to make function again. And he goes from this dirty ass like found at the bottom of a poo barrel, all the way to like functioning games work on it, plugs into your TV again. Like the whole schmear. And he does this with all kinds of consoles. It's just the Mega Drive, but he did it with an NES, a Super NES. I think there's a Dreamcast in here.
Right.
I know there was a Dreamcast. And man, I don't know if you remember how yellow those Dreamcasts got after a while. But
oh, yeah. Anything that was white or gray was definitely going to be yellowing. You were much better off with the black consoles.
Yeah. And I was telling him how I had this friend that whose dad smoked a lot.
Yes.
But he was never around when I was over there, so I didn't know how much. But here's how I knew. A couple of years after us both owning NESs, mine was still white or off-white, gray, eggshell. And his was like this nasty pea yellow from all the smoke in the air. I feel bad for that.
And we're watching the YouTube videos, and it's kind of like almost like ASMR because everything he does, if I remember correctly, he doesn't really talk over top of what he's doing.
Nope.
He does.
Just shows it.
Does he do a little bit of talking?
No, it's all showing it, and I don't think there's any music even. I think it's just
right. It's just the noises of him disassembling the plastic and unscrewing stuff. It's very. I mean, if you're the type of person who likes to watch power washing, like you ever seen anybody like power wash the side of a house, it's like it's so satisfying. It's like, oh yeah, make that thing clean. Yeah, that's kind of how this is, except with retro stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. The channel I want to recommend is Restoration EG. And it's a YouTube channel updated all the time, and they're always doing stuff. The Game Boy restoration stuff was really fun to watch because you had to get a bunch of replacement parts for that. But just look at this nasty freaking inside of this Genesis. Oh my gosh. Dude.
Oh, there's like dead bug parts, everything in there. Yeah, I wanted to try to retrobrite something. Speaking of like an NES or something like that, but I've heard that even if you retrobrite it, and what that means is, if you don't know what it is, basically you're putting it in a solution that's activated by UV light, usually the sun, and it will like return to its whiter or lighter color. But I've heard that over time, like in a short amount of time, it kind of reoxidizes or whatever is turning it exactly like that.
Oh, really?
So it's kind of like a temporary fix, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I want to see for myself. I'm curious. I am retro bright curious.
Yeah, me too. And they use like a UV light thing combined with some kind of special water alcohol combo deal, and you're able to like submerge this stuff, scrub it.
Yeah,
it ends up working fine. It's crazy. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, you can scrub a board with like alcohol solution and stuff because
that's true. We used to dishwash our keyboards back in the day.
Yeah, totally could do that. Yeah, as long as it's something like Dawn doesn't have like a moisturizer or nothing in it. As long as it's something that's stripping away oils and greases, you should be okay.
Yeah, and as long as you took the time to let it dry, you let it dry enough, you'd be fine. So anyway, do your research. Check out this channel. It's pretty awesome. Restoration EG. Brian, what were you up to this week with your retro life?
Hey, man, I'm going to switch over to my other camera so everybody can see in the chat room, then I'll describe what I'm messing with here. Oh, shoot, I keep turning my video off instead. So take that, Scott Johnson.
Yeah,
let me turn it back on this time, but let's put it on the right one. There we go. So you guys know that we played a couple of weeks back. We played some race games where we were playing like super off-road, top-down racers. And I had ordered from GRS Game Room Solutions a spinner. And I made a 3D printed, designed and 3D printed a little attachment to put on my desk.
Oh, look at that. It's like mounted right on there, dude.
Yeah, my little knob goes around there. Got to adjust a little bit. Oh, because I was on the steering wheel. So, yeah, so this interfaces, I just got my, we talked about my wheel, which is a little metal steering wheel like you would see on the old arcade machines. Probably a little bit smaller than those, but still heavy duty.
Yeah.
GRS, I think it was, what is it? TS Ticks or something like that. Thundersticks. Thundersticks. That's the name of the place. Thundersticks.
Yeah.
But I ordered a wheel, and then I ordered a spinner knob, which attaches to the wheel. And then I 3D printed something specific for my desk. I measured and designed this little box here, including a little place to mount this 12-in-1 interface that all this stuff plugs into. And then you plug that into your USB computer, and then you are using it like a mouse somewhat. So so you can take that into Retro Arch, and you can play your super off-road, which I did earlier today, and I'm going to do a video this weekend.
Oh yeah,
about what I've done so far. It was this is a prototype I've done, and it's just taped together. The box is, but it's all pretty steady and pretty stable.
Yeah, it seems pretty solid there. Let me ask you this: is it it's wired to your computer if you're going to use it, right?
Correct. This runs through a standard micro USB, which plugs into a little board that is what's called a 12-in-1 by this Thundersticks company. And you can plug it in for the 1UP Arcade. You can get these for it's got a port for 1UP Arcade, or you can just use it through your USB directly to your PC. I was actually going to put this in my Atari Fight Stick console, but I was like, why am I putting that in here? Because I'm already having trouble with the Fight Stick and how large it is in my limited space that I'm in currently. Maybe I should just build something small that'll fit on my desk, and that's exactly what I did. And I'll post pictures on Twitter as well for those who are not.
When you do the video, you're going to show some games.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to show some games, and I've had to do some adjustments because there's not a lot of adjustments you can make in Retro Arch. There's some pin switches on this knob that you can set for the sensitivity, but then if you get into each of the cores, that's where most of your sensitivity stuff is set. And I played some super off-road this morning and cranked up the sensitivity in MAME 2008, I think is the ROM I have for that.
Oh, okay.
And so I know I blew a lot of information up in your face just then, but I'll be doing some follow-ups with this stuff. I was just super excited to get this in and get it set up. and now it's set right in front of my keyboard, and I can freaking just play. You're probably watching, going, "Oh, I wish I could just spin a wheel, just spin a wheel."
You know what I want to do? I just want to crank spin it. But how hard do you want to spin that and worry? You know, I don't want.
Right. It stays pretty good so far. Like I said, it's a prototype, and I'm trying to see what's going to happen. It seems to take it pretty good. I got it at a 15-degree angle.
Yeah,
it's pretty solid.
It's not bad.
It's rocking.
Yeah. What a nerd! Look at that on your
desk.
What
a nerd! Nerd
play
pants.
Sprint and super off road. That's your job tomorrow.
Well, I'm gonna play that game I wanted to go back and play more of, which was that Super Sprint kind of clone. What was it? The futuristic one? Not Carmageddon. What was it called? It was which was like
Badlands.
Badlands.
Yeah,
That's it. That was pretty freaking fun. I had fun with that thing.
That's the one I'd play. I'd play Badlands. That'd be my pick of the
Badland.
Very cool. Well, as you can see, we've been up to some stuff, but we've also been discussing this.
Shall we play a game?
Look, we don't have to tell you guys that Terminator existed or Rambo. You know, these are huge entertainment properties and IPs that transcended our youth and continues even today. You got Gen Zers who know everything there is to know about Terminator, for example.
Yes.
But did you know, young people, that they made a video game for Terminator, 1984's Terminator? Let's be clear about that. Not to
But when did they make it, Scott? When did they make a game for a movie that came out in 1984?
Well, this is so weird to me. This game came out in 1992.
Oh, so just the 8 years later then.
Yeah, but it looks like it was done in 1982. I'd say 82. It's so like pre-movie or whatever, because there's not a lot here that reminds me of the movie to begin with. The character runs like a total gooball. I don't know what's going on with this guy's animation and the way he sits and stands up and jumps. His jump is one of the worst jumps in video game history.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really, I mean, there are tons of Terminators, which I guess happens later in the series, but not 1 or 2. It was still just down to, what, Terminator 2 had 2 Terminators, I think?
Right. Well, when you first start playing it, you're playing as Kyle Reese in the future, which we got a little peek at on the movie, at the movie, but not very much.
No.
But you play like the first couple levels, which last forever because you keep dying.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the Terminators were run rampant then, but
right.
Yeah, the Kyle Reese bit, his torso's too long, his legs are too short.
They're hilarious. His arms like almost reach his feet.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
There's some decent sound to this. Let's play a little of that. Except, you know what?
Well, I was going to say, there was decent sound. I don't recall that.
I feel like it, you know, an NES game, sure, it makes sense, but this doesn't sound anything like the Terminator movie. There's no, like, trying to recreate an 8-bit version of the soundtrack or any of that. Especially this bit. Like, what is this?
He's running. Yeah, that's.
It's just dumb. It's dumb. Because we've got that cool theme they could riff on that.
Yeah,
whatever.
So much great freaking music you could steal from, but I guess Radical Entertainment was just like, it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think T2 is, when did T2 come out? Terminator 2 is coming out like
92 also, same year as this.
Also 92. Yeah.
So which makes no sense to me.
None.
Wouldn't you want to capitalize on that game being out to coincide with the film? I would. That's what I would do. A Terminator 2 game. And there were Terminator arcade games that coincided with Terminator 2's release. But this thing basically comes out at the same time. It's not a good video game, all right? I just want to put it out there early. Terminator, bad example of our stuff today. It's not good.
It's side-scrolling, platforming, run and gun, 8-bit, not action. I don't even think they used all the colors that the NES could use, or if they did, they chose the most drab they could.
They muted the hell out of them if they did.
They muted the hell out of them, yeah. And actually, one of the reasons why this game was kind of rushed and kind of late is because there was another Terminator game that had been in production for years, and they lost the rights to that. It was Sunsoft was under contract up until around 89 or 90 to make a Terminator 1 game, and they drug their fate and drug them, and they finally lost the
they make make good video games. So
yeah.
I'm guessing we traded down here. We could have ended.
Well, we definitely did. Now we get a chance to see Sunsoft had run a couple of little CES. They had done some promo work. Matter of fact, I got a video of it. If we want to jump to it, we don't have to, but
we can.
Near the bottom of what's worth mentioning is Journey to Silius, I think is how you say it. It was released, and it was essentially the Terminator game we were supposed to have before everything fell through.
All
there's a video right next to Journey to Silius.
Let's see if I can get this to run here. Okay, there we go. So this, for some reason, this reminds me of the arcade game, the Terminator arcade game. And maybe that's...
It was much sexier, and it kind of... I think they got further into the game story instead of you in the sewers. It was a little bit later on.
Oh, look at this! Look at these guys chasing the truck here.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. That doesn't look right.
It doesn't look right, but you got to remember this was like 86 probably. So, but they're definitely running from the truck. It feels more like look at the Terminator. I love it.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is a prototype, but it had all these great. I think it looks great for a prototype.
I do too. Also, Sunsoft made quality games. It's not like they're not known for that. So,
and I'm wrong. Actually, that link I sent you was just for the promotion for the prototype. The Journey to Silius is what I probably should have put there, so you can see that game. But we'll pop to it later unless you want to find it somewhere. But it's a much more.
So did they this Journey to Silius? Did they rename the damn thing and just try to put it out like that? Really?
Yeah, that's what they did. There was and they swapped out some graphic elements, changed the story up a little bit, and said, "There you go."
That makes sense. That makes sense. You don't want to do a bunch of work that ends up just sitting there.
Yeah.
Put it out.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone bought that. I didn't buy it.
No, but God, the one we did play, the one from 1992 by Radical Entertainment. Man, that was a pain in the butt as far as the AI goes, because everything's on magnets. But since you're doing platforming, multi-level platforming at that, it was real easy to get stuck in an area where you couldn't get the bad guy to back up enough to let you jump on the platform. And so you end up dying, and the lives are very limited. And if you die, you have to go back to the beginning. There's no saves or anything. I think it's 3 times and you're out and you're starting over again, which was vicious hard, especially once you get to the second level where you're riding the motorcycle and stuff. But they did allow you to, at certain points, they would allow you to get extra man, up to 6. Someone decided that 6 was the maximum amount of extra players you could queue up.
Was that before the law of 3s in video games? And the law of 6s?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But it did do one thing that I really liked about the NES. I don't remember seeing this in other 8-bit systems, but I really dug it in the NES. It's where they have that top bar. They'll put they'll put all the stats up there, like your health, which in this case I think is represented by hearts, and different things that different weapons and things. And this character, when he jumps high enough on the platforms, the character sprite will be in front of that HUD. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
that is kind of cool.
I like that.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. A few games did that, and I thought that was a pretty neat addition.
It's like, these are on some kind of layers. Neat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Like it.
I don't know why.
Maybe they sprite redraw. I don't know, but it makes it like some layers.
I don't know why the game's just so bad. It just plays so bad.
It was not good. Radical Entertainment, like I said, I don't know how long they had, but the other came out in 90s, so I'm assuming Radical probably ended up getting the rights to this and the go-ahead somewhere around 90, and so it was probably trying to beat T2 out.
Probably, yeah. They were racing to beat the sequel. That. Exactly. This, but never forget this important music from the original film. It's so bad. All right, let's move on to another.
Terminated. I think they just were just looking for a chance to, because every time you die, it would say you've been terminated, and I think the developers thought that was hilarious, and they just wanted to that screen to show up as often as that kill screen to show up as possible, just often as possible.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Real quick here, you'll notice a trend today. The movie adaptation world of video games was in a rough place. Okay.
Yeah, we hadn't figured it out even as late as 93 and 92.
I would agree. I'd say even later. I don't think we got there till I think kind of recently where they're better than good, like at least out of the B tier and worth your time. Like
we're watching a great series right now on HBO Max. It's based on a video game. So
yeah, we've come a long way.
We've come a long way.
I mean, that game benefits from being such a story already that it was kind of easy to move it over. But I would argue like the Spider-Man games have all been good, and they were good back in the 2002 Spider-Man game, which I guess was a PS2 game, and that was based entirely on that film, and it was good.
And I think part of the problem is understanding, because at this point, NES and every software developer was always looking for that next big thing, and they were like, "Oh, these are easy pickings. We just pick an intellectual property. We don't have to do any marketing, basically, and we can just go with it." Now it seems like they're a little bit better at picking things. Like Spider-Man, the game mechanics kind of write themselves, and it fits well in the story.
Sure.
The Terminator, the first movie, mostly it's about you being stealthy and running from an impending force that's going to get you.
Yep.
And that's hard to do in a game in 1992 on it.
That's all we did back then. Nothing but platformers, man. That's what we did.
Yeah.
Well, good news. Along comes Rambo.
Stallone is here to save us.
Yeah, Stallone will save us. Now, what I love about this guy, first of all, I love Rambo. And we're about to do Rambo 2 for Film Sack. Very excited.
Yeah, and this is actually based on Rambo 2.
Or I should say Rambo First Blood 2. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And this is based on that, right? So this would have been, let's see, the year is, we wrote it down at the 93. Yeah.
93 was when Rambo, the game, came out for the NES. 85 was when Rambo First Blood 2 came out.
85 was a hell of a year. People always talk about 84, but 85 had some stuff, man.
Yeah, don't forget about Rambo First Blood.
Yeah, you got the First Blood 2. You got the Back to the Future business that was that year. 85 is a good year. Anyway, you get dropped in the forest and you run around in white sweatpants with footies. For some reason, the limited color abilities or whatever of this console, it's just what you had. It's fine.
I don't remember Rambo running around with like red tights and a red bandana, but maybe I need to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, but this is, I think, a markedly better game. Than the Terminator game, and this is the one I got. I think of the all. Well, we're going to talk about Total Recall later, but I think the Total Recall game and this game were the two that held me.
Right.
Which is weird because Total Recall is kind of terrible but great. It's hard to explain. Right. That one transcends how bad it is into something better.
This one picked a better direction. It went with a Zelda 2 clone instead of like some type of action side-scroller platform shooter they did on the other one. So this one's more based towards adventure. It's got a little bit of a bigger map because you have to walk to different platforms where it says south, north. And so you had to kind of like navigate through this kind of adventure.
Yeah.
And the dialogue, the adventure dialogue, where you're interacting with other characters, is hilarious.
It's really bad. Some of it's horribly translated or not written. I don't know what happened or who was in charge of it, but it's really bad. I'll give you an example.
I like when he's. I don't know if you remember this part, and I can't remember the exact dialogue, but basically you're running into Co. So this is, like I said, based on First Blood Part 2, where you run into Co in the movie and here as well, and you ask her how you look or something. You're like fishing for a compliment.
Yep, it's weird.
It's weird. Everything that he does is really weird interaction, and these little 8-bit punch-out looking characters that they've illustrated.
They're horrendous. They're horrendous.
Yeah, and I
this
love
one
them.
here where the general's saying, it says, "You're not to engage the enemy," and Rambo goes, "Photos? Not rescue them?" What?
And it's hilarious because, in my opinion, because that's the whole. When you first start, by the way, it took me forever to get started because none of the directions were clear. It was kind of confusing. They tell you to go to the hangar. You go to the hangar. There's nothing there. Then they tell you to. Then you just kind of like walk around until you happen to cross an area. And then you talk to another guy, and he goes, "Oh, you need to get weapons." And so you get weapons. But they've been telling you all along, you're going on a photo recon. You're just going to shoot photos. But then other people are saying you're going to kill people, and then some people say you're rescuing people, and it's just all over the freaking place with your directions.
Yeah,
which is somewhat like the movie, right? But where they're trying to fool Rambo into going and do something he doesn't want to do. But when I'm playing a game, don't fool the player. Don't fool
don't fool a Reaper either.
Yeah, don't fool the Reaper.
The way I see this game is if you have some love for Rambo, I think it's worth playing. If you have some love for Zelda 2 style side-scrolling with a bunch of weapon types, that's the other thing I like the UI in this thing. Up top, you get a life and experience bar, but you also get kind of a cool UI of what you like when you start the game. You see these and you realize, oh, I don't even have these yet. Like,
I got
that's explosive arrows. I think I see an automatic weapon in there. That looks cool.
And everybody, there was a huge thing when I was growing up, about mid 80s, where everybody had to get a Rambo survival knife, where it had a compass on the end, saw, had the saw blade on one side, the sharp blade on the other, had matches inside of it. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Couldn't wait to get one.
It's pretty weird. Did you mention this thing about the anger meter in Japan versus our version of it?
I did not mention.
We got to talk about that because it's weird as shit. So explain that.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so the anger meter. So like in the U.S., you didn't get the anger meter, but you kept seeing weird stuff. Like you're trying not to get angry.
Yeah.
But you get angry and angry, and then at the end, the colonel, who was from the first one and the second one, you can actually cast a spell on him and turn him into a frog. Which I think happens in the U.S. version too, but there's no anger meter, so it doesn't make as much sense. And even though none of it makes sense, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, you gotta. I don't understand why Rambo has an anger meter, but I guess that's the way the audience. I guess that's the way the developers in Japan saw the movie and said, "Oh yeah, watch him. He just gets angrier and angrier, and then he hulks out."
Yeah, he just gets more pissed as the game goes on, for sure.
Yeah, which is true because Stallone always played the flawed hero, the almost anti-hero. Schwarzenegger always played just the straight up hero, just non-reproachable, just and so that was kind of his deal.
Yeah. I again, this one was actually pretty fun, and I think some of the mechanics hold up. It plays okay, feels okay.
Yeah, if you like Zelda 2, even the music feels Zelda 2-ish, and it's
it is feel like a skin. Fun. It feels like a Zelda 2 skin.
Yeah, but the anger meter is just an experience bar. It's just a way of saying you've got to reach a certain level of anger to be able to do certain things, to improve certain stats, and that's as far as I read in the manual because I wasn't going to read any more after that.
You got to read. Hold on, this is amazing. So as you were explaining that, I found some dialogue that we must share. So I'll pull it up on the chat. He has to save a kid in a cave, which is great because he talked to a guy, says, "Please save kid in cave." And he goes, "Huh?" And the lady goes, "Rambo, please go get the kid from the cave." So now he finds the kid in the cave. Hold on, I got to hit play. The kid goes, and Rambo goes, "I'll help you." and that's it.
That's it. That's kind of confusing. There's so many dead end conversations and instructions that happen in this game. Like when you first run into Co, she says something about you try to access a boat. And so she comes up and she says, "Oh, yeah, I'll get you to the boat." And you go, "Okay." And then she walks off. And you're like, "Oh, I guess I'm supposed to follow her." And you follow her and she just stands there.
Yeah.
So that whole conversation is pointless. I kept trying to follow her. I couldn't figure out where she was going. And then she would mirror my movements, but then she was walking slower than me. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, is this like an escort mission?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, how forward thinking."
Yeah.
No, she just happened to be heading that way, I suppose.
Yeah.
So you end up having to leave the screen and you won't see her at all for a couple more screens. And then suddenly she pops back up again. There's a lot of moments in this game where there's just it feels like there's like, okay, I must be missing something because the dialogue is weird and it's probably mostly
disjointed and who knows?
Disjointed.
I don't know. This is another great line where a guy says, "Thank you for saving the kid. Please rest."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I can't stay here for a long time. I must go."
I must go. He's
fantastic.
Oh my God.
It's fantastic.
It is great.
Yep, I love it.
And the art is just as bad as you'd ever want an 8-bit art game to be. It doesn't like Rambo in the side scrolling when you do the little interaction dialogues. I can see what they were going for. I'm not saying it looks like Rambo or Stallone, but I'm just saying it feels cartoon. Whoever was doing the illustration, you could tell they were inspired by mid 1900s comic strips and stuff because that's a lot of what it looked like from America.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I think there was a Popeye resurgence. There was like a Popeye explosion in Japan. So I think a lot of that art was kind of like, oh, let's give it back to the Americans. Let's see, this is what they like. They like the Popeye art. So
this is also what we did back then. It's a little bit like animation today. We subbed it out to Asia, and that's what happened here. We were just like, take this American thing, do your best. We'll see how it turns out, and that's just what you got. That's what you got. And it's fine.
Yeah, but
it's fine.
In this game also, you don't. So okay, so we haven't really talked about the R-rated part. Why is this so disjointed for the NES? NES or the family computer in Japan was known for being, family friendly. You could give a game to your kid. They could go rent it from wherever, and they could sit in front of the Nintendo. You don't have to worry about it. But these are all R-rated, hard, action, violent games. And the Terminator did the thing that most people are okay with. He's mostly killing robots, right? Kyle Reese is killing robots. Rambo, he's mostly killing animals in the beginning. Like I don't remember at all in First Blood where he's like killing spiders and stuff.
No, this thing's got like floating skulls and giant floating scrolls and huge spiders. Those aren't ever in a Rambo movie.
No, you can really feel that. You can really feel the artistic influence of the Japanese development. And this is Pack-In Video as the developer, which did Die Hard, which we're going to talk about next. Yeah. But you can tell there's stuff like at the end when you're turning, what's his face, Colonel Troutman, whoever his name is, you turn him into a frog. Yeah. You like cast what are those things called? The spirits or whatever, the spirit of anger. At him or something. Yeah. So you could tell there's a lot more artistic influence from Japanese creation here.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that it's in there because it's way dumb and way cool. It's rad. All right. So play yourself some Rambo from 1993 based on the film from 1985. I think Rambo 3 was out by 93.
Yeah.
Right? Rambo 3 was what year?
Rambo 3 was, if it wasn't, it was very close. Like I said, in this first group we're doing, which is Stallone. I'm sorry, which was
it's 1988. That's so funny.
Yeah. God, that's way before then. So these first ones we're doing, this first grouping, Terminator, Rambo, Die Hard, was all movies, or all games based on movies that were like 10 years old almost, or at least 5 years old. So
5 at the least. So far we're like 5 at the least, and then some longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
it's
weird.
Crazy.
Yeah. Imagine.
By the way, I have a theory about this Rambo game, by the way, this Zelda 2 clone. I think they made it so impossible to get past some of this first parts so that no CEO or parent or reviewer would ever make it to the really wonky parts that would have questions.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. There's this great old story, and this is more modern, of course, but this story in the early 2000s when Genndy Tartakovsky was trying to get Samurai Jack pushed over the brink and get it approved.
Yeah.
And the only way they would let him do what he wanted to do stylistically was when he went off and was slicing and dicing a million enemies and stuff in those big scenes.
Yes.
They had to be robots with like oil spewing and not blood. It couldn't be blood.
Yes.
What a weird final season.
What a weird thing.
It is a weird thing. That final season, which aired on Adult Swim, it had blood, and it was a little shocking at first. I was like, okay, we're going here, are we? Because they'd done it the other way for so long. But the only reason they did is because Cartoon Network's like, nah.
That final season was amazing. A lot of times when you have animators from like the 90s and the early aughts, they were being kind of reined in by the studio a little bit, and you found out that was actually a good thing.
In the case of Ren and Stimpy, it was because those Ren and Stimpy remakes or those new ones they made, they were on like Spike or whatever it was. They were horrifyingly weird. They were kind of gross, and it didn't feel consistent with the characters. So I understand that John Kay, who has his own issues, I understand that he was like going, well, now I'm free. I can do what I wanted to do in the first place. It turns out what he wanted to do in the first place was not as good as what he was tamped down to do instead.
Exactly. Creativity is sometimes sparked by resistance. And I think like Joe Murray, Rocko's Modern Life, he would find a way to work, because I would die laughing because they worked in some kind of weird joke. Same thing with Bob's Burgers. That's like the modern incarnation of that kind of thing, where it's like Gene's always saying these things that are really blue, but you know, you can slip them by the way you deliver them.
Yeah, it's also a little restraint makes things a little funnier. It's hard to explain,
but Genndy, man, he was given free reign pretty much on that final season, and he just got better.
Oh, it was so good. That's an amazing run. Everything about that show is, I'm in awe of how rad it was.
Right.
All right, let's move on to Die Hard. Die Hard, of course, a movie that came out in 1988. The film. This is a game that came out in 1991,
yeah.
91, and sounded like this. Which, again, I don't think this has anything to do with any Die Hard music.
It's not, but I like it. It's totally unique.
It's okay. It's not the worst thing you'll hear. That's
right.
for sure. But Die Hard is interesting. Same developers you mentioned on the other one, but I actually think this game takes a risk that pays off mostly, which is a 3/4 view kind of down shot of the action.
Yeah.
And you're working your way through an office to this music that goes, oh, it's playing right now. Hold on. It almost sounds like a ghost game. Like
John uses the first aid kit for his feet.
Yep.
Scott, because there's two health specifications here. One for the health of your feet, which is so on brand for the movie.
Yeah.
And then you got your regular health where you get shot in the face or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. The more I think about it, the dumber it is. But again, we're talking about a game made by a developer that is not native to the release of the film, who are interpreting these themes in a way that maybe is different than was originally intended. And I'm here for that. I think that is great. I don't want it any other way. I will say this: I respect it for one mechanic that I just noticed just now, or that I'm watching right now, and I noticed while I was playing. When you're outside of a room, you can't see in there yet.
Yeah, I love that. They probably did it because they have a lot of sprites going on, because when you shoot, there are a lot of bullets, and you're going against a lot of enemies too. This is for the NES.
Yeah.
This is probably a decision to darken those rooms so you wouldn't have to really render them, but it really works as a game mechanic, because you really do feel like you don't know what's going to be around the next corner.
You don't know what's around the bend. You might walk into some dudes. There might be some health behind there. There might be some bullets in there. Like, you don't know until you get in there. Yeah. And then when you leave a room, it goes dark again, so you don't know what... there's just a stealth kind of fog of war aspect to it. It's also destructible environments. Nobody was doing that. Nobody had that.
You had to blow up soda cans. So soda machines were your health bar. So when you got shot, you had to drink a soda. That makes you better. But then, if you accidentally shot out some glass in a window, you'd have to walk over with your feet, then you lose some feet health, which slows you down, which is really important because these enemies come at you hard and fast. So it's some really, really interesting gameplay. This was, like I said, I think this is probably, out of all the first round, this is probably by far the best.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I still think I would put Rambo just a tiny bit ahead of it, but I'm not even sure why I think that. I think they're probably on par.
This is that I think I can't figure out which one. I feel like this game was challenging.
I love watching how he shoots. Sorry, I just realized, like you talked about it earlier, but when he just goes whole hog, and he just sprays the whole room.
He just sprays. Man.
Yeah. Anyway,
you can hide behind furniture. All these things, all of these sets stuff too. Like this room he's in now is from the movie. It's where they got that big giant table.
The Nakatomi gets a bullet to the head room.
Yeah, and the game starts out. We talked about before we started. Was it Game Scream or Title Scream?
Yeah.
.com has all those great title screens, and one of them is the Die Hard. And you forget that it was like the Nakatomi buildings looked like the Twin Towers, and they were being blown up, which didn't hold up well.
No, it did not.
But it was still 91. They didn't know.
Yeah.
And the cutscenes are really great because it got really good, pixel art of the actors, and it looks like them, even though the top-down version.
So my understanding is, we think today, like if you're going to work on a pixelated game, you have tools that let you essentially just draw in pixels, like you're creating art and assets with a pen. You're doing it in a very natural kind of art way.
Right.
Back in the day, this is math. They had to go, all right, how wide's our dude?
Get a piece of grid paper out and you start the mapping.
Yeah, you do the mapping, and then you got to program that map. And so this little shot here of McClane with his foot in the tub or in the sink, trying to getting his foot taken care of. Oh my gosh, foot health! It's so stupid.
I love the foot health. I don't like that the HUD is very simplified. You only get like a health bar on the right hand side. You have to go like and think of it select or something to see your foot health.
Yeah.
It'll show you what weapons you can switch weapons with the A and B, and you can run a little bit too, unless you've hurt your feet.
Yep.
In which case, you better go find them first aid kits.
Yep, go get them. It's cool. It's a cool game. It's the destructible environments are still. I think I don't know if this is the first game to ever do it, but it's got to be early.
Yes, it's definitely early.
Yeah.
I like the elevator mechanic too, from getting from one region to the next, because it all takes place in like 6 stories in the Nakatomi building, and you also got to climb through stupid vents too. By the way, just like in the movie. Just like in the movie.
I was playing. Let me tell you what I was doing the other day. I've been playing a bunch of Hitman World of Assassination, which is what used to be Hitman 3. It's a really good value, actually. Right now, you buy it on sale for like $35, and it's everything. It's Hitman 1, Hitman 2, Hitman 3, and then this new roguelike mode called... Oh, I forgot the new thing. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, there's a new mode.
Hitman Duckwork.
It's kind of like that. But
Alan Rickman.
But it made me think... A Die Hard game today, if you made a modern Die Hard game today, you do kind of like that. The whole building is like a big sandbox, and your job is to stealthily take out guards.
Yes.
And you work your way to Hans Gruber. There's something there. I don't know what, but there's game there.
There is.
You know?
There's definitely a game there. The problem is, of course, Die Hard is a franchise. Is probably not going to see another movie unless it sees a complete reboot, and so probably no more hype at this point.
Freelancer, that's the mode. Sorry, the new Hitman mode is called Freelancer, and you build your own safe house. You do these missions where you can't save. You got to be really careful, make sure you pull stuff off right, or else you're screwed and you'll lose stuff. It's a roguelike, but it's great. It's so good.
Yeah. Out of that first round, I'm going to give Die Hard as my choice of
those
first
Brian,
three that were
Brian
far
picks
away.
Die Hard. He's a Die Hard fan. Get it?
I'm a Die Hard fan. Shoot a bad guy. He drops some stuff, and you pick it up, and you go shoot some more. Hey, look, it's what's his face from Thank God It's Friday, TGI Fridays, and
it's
Urkel's
the
neighbor. And
Urkel's dad. Oh no, it's Urkel's dad. No, I don't know what he was.
No, it's Urkel's neighbor because Urkel has a crush on his daughter.
Oh right, and he annoyed the hell out of him.
Right.
That was the deal.
Did I shoot that?
Yeah. I freaking hate it. All right, now let's talk about the ugliest game of the entire batch that came out right after the movie, or as the movie hit.
It's as the movie, like at the same time. Now this one hit 8 and 16-bit systems.
Yep, and here's your audio. Again,
Carl Winslow.
Probably not super. I mean, it almost sounds like what's that commercial? Something's on your side. What is it, like insurance or something?
Nationwide is on your side.
That's what it sounded like. All right, we're talking about Cliffhanger, another Sly Stallone joint, and on this video, we're looking at the NES version of this. It is an ugly. So far, it's fine. These cutscenes are fine. Wait till you get to this action here. Hold on. This is some.
Now we're getting to see the big bad guy here is Harry and Henderson fame is
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow. Yeah, Lithgow.
I love that you always go to Harry and the Hendersons. I love that.
That's my pivot point.
Yep.
For my man.
I always think of him as the dad or the preacher that was banning dancing in Footloose.
Oh yeah,
that's what I always think of.
I guess wherever you get your first John Lithgow. How does Ibit always says it different than me, and I always forget which way.
He says Lithgow. I say Lithgow. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, that's it.
Lithgow is the way I've always said it. I love that guy. Too. He's my height too, so it makes me feel like I could make it in Hollywood.
And you get some 8-bit action of him in this one. Yeah. Oh, I actually loved him in Daddy's Home too. He was really good in that.
Yeah, but this is, I mean, talk about bad jumps. Sorry, Terminator, we got a new champ in town. Look at this guy when he jumps. It's horrible.
They're horrible in the way they're animated, but they're freaking super in the fact that you can really jump. I don't know what they thought of Stallone, but apparently thought he was a jumper.
Yep. But when you're making these games, all right, this is something I think we're learning as we're going through these. When you're making a game in this era for a movie tie-in, none of them got experimental for the most part. Most of them were just like side scroller, shoot stuff, dodge stuff. Okay. like every game out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What's the formula? Let's just do that and plug in the story and the actor and make some sales.
Yeah. Why? And so did you? I didn't play the 16-bit game. I only played this 8-bit one.
I meant to pull it up. Oh my God! I played the Sega Genesis version of this, which I happen to have. I meant to pull it up earlier on my 201 card, and oh my God, that game is actually fun. This game is crap. You climb up a bunch of ladders, got to avoid boulders and jumping, a lot of platform jumping.
Yeah, it's poop.
Running means that you have to push left or right while pushing up at the same time to have a diagonal, and he has to have like a running start to be able to jump anywhere. And sometimes the cliff platforms are just too short. And all you're doing is collecting money and avoiding stuff and picking up very few items. It's brutal.
Yeah.
But this one that was on the Sega Genesis,
it's a little more like a walking or a Final Fight kind of game.
Yeah, it's a Final Fight. You're beating up stuff, a little bit of platforming in between. You've got some areas where you're actually climbing cliffs.
Yeah, because you're a cliffhanger. You got to climb the cliffs to hang.
The art is so much better, even though I hated the color palette because it's very limited. At first, I hated the color palette on the NES version.
Yeah.
But the more I played, I kind of actually started liking the earth tones and stuff they had. It didn't feel very cold.
Yeah, this one feels like this is icy as hell. There's snow everywhere.
This is icy as hell, and you're beating up people. You're picking up knives. You knock out of people's hands. There's a lot of bad guys. Now that's not realistic to the movie, but it makes for a fun game mechanic. You want Stallone to go kick some butt, right?
Yeah. Didn't we
money bags.
We watched this for Film Sack and decided that Cliffhanger doesn't hold up very well.
I think
right?
we've watched every. I was trying to think. I think we've watched every one of these movies as games on Film Sack, except for one we're about to watch, which is going to be First Blood Part 2.
Yeah, that's right. So, but in this case, my memory is that this doesn't hold up. I don't mean the game, but the movie. Cliffhanger's not that great.
Oh, yeah. The Cliffhanger, the movie, it holds up emotionally in some parts. It's still impactful. I'm like, oh, come on. But in other parts, it's like, okay, John Lithgow's just over the top. Stallone's over the top. It's just too much. Matter of fact, we should just watch Over the Top.
Let's just watch Over the Top. Yeah, exactly. I want an Over the Top game. That'd be cool. Yeah. Oh, look at this, a climbing mini game. Sorry, I just noticed he's climbing a wall.
He is climbing. You also notice that he went to a fire pit, which they have in the 8-bit version as well. It's kind of like a health regenerative area. So instead of picking up something to repair your feet or your hands or whatever, you put some salve on your pecs while you're climbing. You go up to the fire pit and you regain some health that way.
Yeah, and then the guys that are shooting only can shoot 4 different directions. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty rough for a 16-bit game, but it looks good. I think it looks pretty well. Maybe it's because I've been playing all these 8-bit games, and so 16-bit it's such a huge jump forward. It's just like, oh my God! Oh, I forgot you guys to run away from the avalanche.
Yeah, there's an avalanche scene. I just wonder if there's what are these corn cobs he's jumping over? It's weird.
Those are supposed to be logs, but whatever, corn cobs, giant corn cobs. I'm with you.
They look like eating corn cobs. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out who the audience is. Then were kids going, yeah, man, freaking Cliffhanger, or was it?
I couldn't understand that either, especially for the NES version, which was Sony ImageSoft. By the way, they've made some terrible games along the way and some okay games.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand the market either because I didn't, as a kid, if I had an NES, there was no way I had Cliffhanger on my radar. I'm like, no kid was going, Ma, can you give me Cliffhanger for Christmas?
Cliffhanger, please.
All of these games, I don't think many people own any of these games. If you go to try to buy these on eBay or any place, like pricecharting.com or anything, almost all of these games are impossible to find, and one of the reasons why I think is I don't think they had much faith in any of these games.
So it's not rare for the right reasons. You don't want it to be rare because nobody bought them, right?
Right. And so and I think that these were games that you would go rent. These were all rentable games that if you were just looking for some good laughs, you weren't looking for anything. You knew it was going to be an action game. And you would be able to play it, return it by Monday, right? Just over the weekend.
Yeah.
your rental.
I think you're right. I think the Blockbuster rental was a draw for a lot of these.
Yeah,
and there was a reason these existed in that way because
no
one's spending $40 on
and then you come do this or whatever,
Sure.
Yeah,
but $40 for one of these? No way, dude. Oh my gosh.
No way.
You
don't want to see the prices now for these things, man. It's crazy
because they're so rare. What are they going for?
Yeah, let's see. I think one of them was pretty common, but I'm trying to remember how much I saw. So pricecharting.com is a place where a lot of us retro gamers go to find out what the price is on different places like eBay. And it'll give you the new complete in box price and that kind of stuff. And I'm just typing as fast as I can.
You're good at that. You're good at this killing time with your voice while you look up a thing. I
do. So maybe you want to get a Cliffhanger for North America, and you just want to for just a mere $108, you can get the loose copy of that. Or if you want the complete, you can get it for $351. Or if you want to get the graded price, you can go ahead and shoot yourself in the head and cough up $1,200 for the Cliffhanger. Yeah, not going to happen. Like I said, probably pretty rare because I don't think anyone had this in their collection, because who's buying it? Yeah. So you're spot on when you say, who were they making these for?
Who are these for? Or better yet, here's a better question. Who was Hudson Hawk for? And I don't just mean the game. I mean that movie. It's for Brian Ibbett. He loves this game, or this movie.
Yeah.
Unapologetically.
I find a little bit of guilty pleasure in it, but not enough to watch it more than once in a while when I see it.
Yeah, it's got to be rare. I think the last time I saw it was Film Sack. I don't think I've seen it any other time. But this is our second of the Bruce Willis outings on our list today, and also a game that was released shortly after the movie. This is 1991. The film was also that year, and is a side-scrolling action platformer, has environmental puzzles, that sort of thing. That's pretty much it. There was an SNES version. It got scrapped because the movie kind of tanked.
After the movie took a big old flying dump.
When movies tank, they tend to cancel these projects, but this one made it to the NES. And here's my problem. Thematically, first of all, a bunch of big head goober characters.
It's a bunch of chibi characters. So if you're looking for Bruce Willis, it's not going to be Bruce Willis. It's going to be cool guy with a flat top is what it is, because he's got his sunglasses on and he's got his little stance.
Was there a thing in the movie where he would take guys out with a tennis ball or whatever?
I believe there was, if I remember the movie correctly, it was either a baseball or a tennis ball that he threw to get a dog away. The character in the movie is a cat burglar, and he's trying to retrieve or steal before somebody else can. I can't remember the plot exactly, but he's trying to get all these artwork pieces before the market is flooded and it ruins the economy or something. It was something stupid. Anyway, he was a cat burglar trying to turn semi-good or something.
Sure, do something good with his skills as a cat burglar.
Right. Yeah. So he was constantly stealthing and distracting. And so I think there was a scene. Well, also duct work again, by the way. Bruce Willis loves
lots of duct work. Oh man, put him in some duct. You know what? If they had to recast Shawshank Redemption and have somebody climb through miles of shit,
through the shit pile, through the
shit pipe, have him do it. But so one thing I do like about this game, I think the animations are really good, and I think the frame rate's really good, and it's real smooth for an NES title. Of course, we're late in the game here for the NES titles, so they've had some time to perfect that stuff, but it looks a lot better than your average game.
It looked pretty good. Like you said, the animations were really good. They went with the simplistic style. And if you want to talk about a variety of gameplay, there is a lot of variety of gameplay here. But it all equals to frustrating as hell moment to moment. I mean, there's so many times where each of these little mini games are just so brutal and unfair.
Yeah.
Because I'll give you some examples. Like there's one part where you got to, so first of all, you have to stack some boxes to get into a window and avoid some dogs. Because the dogs, every time they grab you, they throw you off the edge somewhere. Wiener dogs, Rottweilers, all of them. Yeah. Anyway, you get into the first little section and right away you know you're in trouble because you got to get past this camera system, which you think is a camera system. Because what it does, the camera system going back and forth, and it's actually like a laser beam or electric beam or something, because if you hit it, if you touch it, it doesn't set off an alarm. It just fries you and you dead, and it start over from the
it's not even really I thought they were cameras when I first saw this.
They're showing a screen now too. I thought it was cameras too because I'm like, it looks exactly like a camera, but it's not. It shoots laser beams. And anyway, like the first one of these things you encounter, you're trying to figure out what its process is. Like, okay, how do I get past this thing?
Yeah.
And you got to push this box to another crate so that you can like stair step your way on out of the way.
Yeah, they don't give you any. They give you no help with that.
They give you no help with that, and all of these boxes. Well, some of the boxes they're constantly moving the bar with this game. That first puzzle that I just mentioned, you push the box, and if it taps in just a little bit, if it just barely taps the bigger box, it pops behind you, and it resets. And so this is constantly happening through this game.
Yeah, it's glitchy.
You'll see something that you got to platform on or navigate or environmentally solve. And you'll accidentally push something just a little, like 1 pixel too much, and it resets the whole puzzle. And it's like, oh my God, if you do that one more time, I'm gonna murder you.
Yeah, do that again. We're gonna have words.
So it's like, oh my God, I hated this one. It made me laugh, but eventually I was just like, okay, I'm not making any progress anymore.
Were these little psycho characters on bikes, little red devil looking?
They're like
dudes?
Zoidbergs is what they're like. They're like. I'm like, why is Zoidberg from Futurama riding a bicycle? I don't understand.
It's very funky.
Confusing.
It's funky as hell, this game.
Yeah.
I'd recommend checking it out just to laugh at it because it's dorked.
Yeah, if you want to play like the first couple of levels, I think that's about as you'll probably get the idea of where it's going. Like, okay, that was funny.
Is the famous line, this line right here, is this in it?
Slurp my butt.
Is that in there?
No, it's not, but I was hoping you would grab some clips from Hudson Hawk and had them in the hands because Slurp My Butt. And there's also, I think the bad guys in Hudson Hawk, weren't they like Mario and Luigi? Or they were the Mario Brothers, I think. Is that right?
Oh.
There's references.
Yeah.
There's references to that. And then there's Nintendo. He says something. There's that famous line that he says, you got Nintendo. What is it? You play Nintendo? You got Nintendo? What does Bruce Willis say?
Don't have it.
How's the clip go?
Hold on. Hudson Hawk.
I'd be shocked if you didn't have it in your list of Hudson Hawk clips that we made for Film Sex. I'm almost positive that's where I'd heard it from.
Where's the line? Oh, is this it? Hold on. This might be the line. And it's on. Let's see. Here we go. Wait.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Will you play Nintendo with me?
There it is.
I can't think of anybody I'd rather play with.
I got to go cap that later. That's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good
Will you play Nintendo with me?
Hey, I'm Bruce Willis. Play Nintendo with me.
So okay, so we had the true hero Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was so good it was almost sickening. We had Stallone, who was the broken hero, and then we had Bruce Willis, who was the sarcastic asshole hero, reluctant hero, and those were your big 3 action star power action movie guys.
Those were our guys back then.
Nice.
But we've got a returning champion, and that guy came back and did this right here. Which again bears no resemblance to the film's music. I don't know why they do that, but whatever.
Yeah.
This is Total. Ooh, listen. Total Recall, which goes places the game never did. This was published by Interplay. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger film, of course, based on Total Recall, 1990. The game and the movie came out the same year. And it's a Double Dragon-like. It's got some platforming, some weird environmental stuff. Yeah, it's an odd one, man. I had a good time with it, though, I will admit, partly because it is so weird.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing about the movie Total Recall is this weird... First of all, it's based on a short story, and then the movie itself also tries to reflect some of that, but it's really super weird from the time is it a dream? Did they lose did the white man? Who am I even? And do I have to really shoot my wife? I guess I do, Sharon Stone.
Yep.
By the way, I will give Total Recall some credit in this current round of games that were released almost immediately after movies.
Yeah.
This is 1990, and he shoots his wife. He shoots his wife. He also beats up a mustached baby.
Yep.
In some alleyways a couple of times as well.
Yep. Because that's it's Total Recall, man. Like very Verhoeven in the details. The movie is based on, like you said, a short story by Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
And the movie takes huge liberties with the source material. The game even goes a little further than that. It's a weird one, man.
But they stick with it. This is probably all the ones we've looked at today. This is by far my most favorite 8-bit representation of the star. This is crazy. The Schwarzenegger character is like twice as big as everybody you're coming up against. It's kind of hilarious.
No, he's huge. He's huge in this one. He's a big old player character.
Yeah.
And funny enough, like if you're really following the story hits, this is closer to the film than any of these others get to their film counterparts.
Except I don't remember the time where you're walking past an alley and somebody grabs you and suddenly you're in some kind of random encounter.
Yeah, when did the hands come out of the wall and like try to punch you?
Oh yeah, it's pretty early on. Like after you get snatched into the alley a couple of times and you realize,
but that never happened in the movie though, right? That was a thing.
No, I was trying to think, did he get snatched into an alley? I don't remember that, but I'm not. It's been a while since I've seen Total Recall.
Because look at these little hands coming out of these holes, punching at nothing.
Yeah, there's little hands. It's like, did you ever watch Wipeout? There's like any of those kind of like those competitions where you got to run past certain things and weird stuff happens. That's how this is. There's a wooden fence in the middle of the city, and for no reason whatsoever, there's holes in them, and there's fists coming out of them, and you have to avoid them. You
can also tell what games are needlessly difficult by when you see the long plays on YouTube. When someone has like eternal life turned on,
yes,
they're like, I don't want to die. I'm just going to play this thing through.
You bump that crap.
Yeah. I always think sometimes I should play some of these that way just so I can, I don't know, see them through.
Yeah, a lot of these games are fairly short, but the gaming mechanics usually so freaking brutal that
that's how they made them long. Yeah, that's how they drug it out. Sure.
You had to become very skillful and had to be skillful in each section. So you couldn't just learn one thing and go, okay, this is going to serve me through the rest of my game. No, you learn one thing and it's like, oh crap, because like Michael Ironside's here.
Yep, look at him.
This guy's playing good because because Michael Ironside, but like in the movie, he's like chasing you right with the Uzi. Yeah. So he's like, you can't kill him. Yeah. You cannot kill him. It's literally you cannot kill him. So he's like the hurry up mechanic. So like, when you play in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Shredder comes out and he says, "Get to going, move." Yeah. It's like that, except he shows up with a Uzi. So if you're going along too slowly, like trying to kill your wife, you're like having a crisis, like, oh, should I kill my wife? I don't know if I should or not. And then he just shows up, just laying down the Uzi bullets.
It's an amazing role for it. It's one of my favorites. I love that guy.
Yeah.
This is what the dialogue sounded like when they would talk to each other. Hold on. Where is it?
I kind of like that.
Not that. Oh, here it is. That's how they talked. Beep, beep,
they got that sim speak, but it's beeps.
It's just beeps. It's just horrible beeps. But it's fun. That's my favorite of the second batch.
I gotta say that even though, so the Hudson Hawk, I could play like the first level, maybe the first level and a half, and I watched some videos of the rest of them. Like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And then I watched. I did Total Recall. Played a pretty good bit into that. It had me rolling in the floor with this stupid because I couldn't believe how many times they got me with the guy in the alleyway. Because literally, if you're walking along and you walk in front of the alley, if you jump right before you get to it, he doesn't get you. He doesn't even come out.
Yeah.
But if you forget to jump, then you're screwed because he's going to grab you. There's no way to avoid it. And I would do that. I would play for a little bit, and I'd totally kind of forget that he was there because I was fighting against some cops or hands coming out of fences or something, and he would get me. So, I mean, it was almost surprising and shocking because it switches the screen, he comes out all of a sudden, just doomp, and then he switches the screen really quick, and it's kind of shocking.
Yeah.
But, man, I was laughing my ass off at this one. But I got to say, I think as far as playing a game to completion, I feel like Cliffhanger may have the advantage here. I think...
A lot of variety.
I think I can see myself playing that one all the way.
It doesn't feel like the same levels over and over. It feels like there's some variety in there.
Yeah.
Here's a little shot here at the end of the game. By the way, it looks like if you turn this thing, if you either play it really well or you turn on Infinite Lives or whatever.
Yeah, definitely turn on Infinite
about
Lives.
25 minutes to beat this game. But here at the end, it looks like him and Ronnie Cox are going at it. Let's see how this ends here. I'm going to hit play. Okay, you got to shoot Ronnie Cox, who's jumping like a freak.
Is Ronnie Cox as tall as him? Because everybody else was like short stuff.
Pretty close.
Oh my God, I love it. What is going on? Is that a glitch or is that how it works?
He reaches for the emblem. They don't show him going out on the Mars surface and have their eyes bulge out. I was hoping for that.
They didn't. Yeah, none of the cool scenes like pulling stuff out your nose or eyes bulging out or Quado.
Yeah.
Or the lady with the the things that all of our
the 3 boobs.
Yeah, the 3 boobs.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Is that what happened? Was it a pyramid? I don't remember that part. Is that what? Maybe
it was definitely not a pyramid. It was like a mountain. It was
a mountain, right?
Yeah, they were all built inside of the. It was all underground stuff in the Mars mountains, and then when they blew the environmental thing, it filled the sky with environment. So
didn't they have? Wasn't Leela in that too? Didn't they have like the single-eyed?
Oh, they have a single-eyed person. I don't remember
that. Did they? I can't remember now.
Schwarzenegger. You got your who's your lady? Sharon Stone
or the other one.
Sharon Stone, and then the other one. There are 2 ladies in this. 3, if you count the 3 boob lady. You got Michael Ironsides.
3.5, really, if you really think about it.
Oh yeah, and the part where Arnold's a lady saying he's been here for 2 weeks and he,
2 weeks.
Those are the moments. Those are the moments I would have figured out a way to wedge into this damn game.
At least like in the cut scenes. How much fun would it have seen? How much fun would it have been to see 2 weeks person trying to hold their face together? I'd love to see an 8-bit version of that.
Completely agree. There's others that are worth a mention. 1997's or 87's rather. Predator also came out that same year. Doesn't follow the movie though.
No, not really. Just Predator's in it.
Conan, man, heavy on the Arnold here. Conan the Barbarian, a game called Conan, 1991, and it is not based on the R-rated film. This is its own standalone thing. RoboCop in 88, which is great.
It's amazing. Maybe one of the best, and why it's probably going to get its own show and didn't end up in the crapshoot with the rest of these.
I agree. Terminator 2 in 92. We'll probably talk about the Terminator series at some point, so we'll save that.
Yeah, with the Predator and the together, probably.
Yeah, finally, those two can hang out.
Finally. Yep.
Anyway, all good stuff if you're into that sort of thing. So go check it out, and we'll talk more about, like you said, they'll probably get their own episodes, but I think RoboCop needs its own talk, man.
Yeah, RoboCop's got like a long history of actually pretty decent games.
Yeah, I like those
Most
games.
of them.
I like them a lot. But now, it's time for this.
Destroy it.
Time to play Guess Our Game. We play some audio from an old game. Turns out you and I are both in the same brain space. 1993 is both years for us today. And a lot of what we talked about was right around then, which is funny. But anyway, we tried to stump each other and see if each other can guess what audio this or what game this audio came from. I'll start with mine. This is a SNES game, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, 1993. It was an original IP, not Nintendo's, but an original new thing. It wasn't based on somebody else's work.
Okay, 1993. So again, okay, SNES, the original property, but not necessarily Nintendo's original property.
And and that's all I'm going to tell you because I think everything else will give it away. So here you go. Enjoy.
Is it Seinfeld?
Like Seinfeld, dude. I think it has some like wiki in a minute. I'm gonna skip ahead some. Yeah. Hear that? Worker. All right. Here's some fighting.
Oh, interesting. So kind of a fighting game, it sounds like, but with like lasers or something, but not like a punch 'em.
Right, not punching, but lasers. That's a good way of putting it. Do you have any idea what this might be?
It's funky.
Yeah, it's
There's
funky.
Lasers.
Yeah.
It's an intellectual property. It's 1993.
Yeah.
The Super Nintendo Entertainment Center
I will say this. The name of the character is also an acronym.
Oh.
So, or is it an initialism? An acronym is the thing you can say. No.
Is he a narc?
It's not narc. I love narc. Oh my gosh, narc.
That's it, right?
Yeah. Narc might get its own show. Any ideas? Any guesses?
Papa Rapid the Rapper?
Nope. But it was like an attitude having 90s ass freaking side-scrolling thing.
Definitely gonna tell us an attitude having game.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I think the Genesis had a version as well, but I capped the Super. And I ended up playing this for about an hour. It surprised me how much I liked it.
I keep seeing Toe Jam and Earl, but
yeah, it does have a Toe Jam and Earl sound. You're right. I'll tell you, since you can't get it.
I got it. Go ahead.
All right. It is Bob. B-O-B. Do you remember Bob?
Yes, Bob. I never played Bob, but I always meant to go back and visit it. So this is good.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it didn't sound. So is the B a lowercase, uppercase B, or is it? Let me. That's the singer.
I think it's B-O-B with periods.
Dots?
I think it's dots.
Yeah.
Let me see if I've got a version of it here I can show. Yeah. Here you go, chat. It's this little dude. It's like a robot guy. Oh, whoops! It went blank. Okay, here we go. So there's like this overworld where you're landed on like this big slab in space, and there's like little space cities there. So you gotta, it's all password based, but you gotta pick one of those, walk into one of the things, and then you do the level. And they're not really that hard. I found it to be not easy, but kind of a breeze. It's like, oh, this is fun. I'm just moving. Let's go. And you shoot. You got a weapon. You got what's the other? Oh, you can shoot up, shoot down, shoot right, left. I think there's no diagonal, and new weapons drop all the time with limited ammo in them. So you always want to pick them up. Sometimes it's fire, sometimes it's whatever. Sometimes it's just bullets. And
some people love this game. Some people are.
Oh
really
yeah, Bob was a sort of a hit. I mean, maybe not a hit in sales, but people that played it liked it.
Yeah,
and it reviewed well. And I think I know why. I think it's really nicely animated and just feels good. It's interesting because you can go into a permanent squat mode because you're a robot and you kind of like transform into a squat. And so instead of you like pushing down and holding down to stay down, it's like a different settings for different height.
Yeah,
which I thought was kind of cool.
I like that.
Yeah,
it's a good better than that stupid Terminator game we played earlier, where you every time you go to shoot, you have to take a minute so you could squat down and shoot. You're like, I don't understand what's going on right now. Terminator, man.
Entirely agree with that assumption there.
So this is what a good game looks like in '93.
Yeah, it's a good video game right here. That's what we got here.
Yeah.
All right. On that note of me getting you being wrong, let's see if I can be wrong with yours.
I missed it. Oh no.
Oh, it's too bad. Well, what's this
Mine
one? Tell me
said
yours.
the arcade. So you would have been while you were at home playing your Bobby. On your 1993 SNES, really new, by the way. I was at the arcade pumping quarters into this game.
Oh, let's hear it. Sounds Sega-ish.
So, how about it was the Capcom game? Oh, I'll give you something already. Look at that.
Oh, okay. Capcom.
Early hint.
Early Capcom. Let's see.
Early hint.
This isn't Street Fighter 1.
Yeah, no sir.
93, we had already had Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
Is it a side-scrolling punch-em-up kind of thing?
It's what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Go over there and side scroll and punch him up? Yes, it is.
Is it Final Fight?
Nope.
That's a Capcom joint.
It really is a Capcom joint.
We should get three. Yeah, we should have rules here. We should have 3 guesses,
and then you're out.
3 hints, and then you're out. 3 hints, 3 guesses,
right.
You're out. So if I can get it under 3, I win.
All right.
That's my second guess. So my third guess. Give me another hint. That'll be your third hint.
It went on to have an animated series.
An animated series. Capcom, you say?
Capcom, side-scrolling, beat 'em up.
I'm going to be really annoyed. I give up. What is it?
I would go with people beating up Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that game. I forgot that existed.
I did too until it popped up on my radar today, yesterday, and I said, "Yeah."
Hold on, is that just called Cadillacs and Dinosaurs?
This is called Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. I want to say this was at our skating rink in Japan. It was known as Cadillacs.
Oh.
Apparently, it was normal to have dinosaurs in the street, but not Cadillacs.
And this was an arcade mission. Did this ever come home? Do you know?
Dude, was there ever at home? I don't know if they ever did a port. I only see arcade. I don't think it ever made it to home ports.
Oh, I'm looking at video now. I remember this game. Absolutely remember this. Yeah, they did a bunch of these. They're basically the Final Fight engine, and they would just kind of repurpose it.
Yeah.
Everyone walked
This is one of the first things I played when I got my arcade retro setup, my little MAME setup. I was like, play some Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
Oh, those buildings back there look like Last of Us buildings. They're all bent over and overgrown. Look at that. It's pretty cool.
Let me pet your pet dinosaur. No way, man. We're gonna fight, and then we're gonna take my Cadillac.
His name is Rockhopper.
Right.
Oh no,
he's punching his.
His name is Vice T.
Right.
He's called Vice T. His dinosaur is called Rockhopper.
Yeah. You play up to 3 players. I don't think anyone ever played this with me. I think I was always by
You're
myself.
on playing. You just played it on
what?
your own?
Cadillacs and dinosaurs? I don't think so, sir.
Just punch and kick, or was there more to this?
So I was just jump, punch, and kick. I think you occasionally pick up weapons on the floor, I think, if I remember correctly.
Dude, the 90s were so freaking great, man.
Yeah.
Look at the stupid ideas we had. They're so stupid. I love them. I absolutely love it. Oh, what if the world was a bunch of guys named Vice T with their own pet dinosaurs to fight for them? Like, it's so dumb.
You know what'd be even better? Let's put some Cadillacs in there.
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah, dude, Cadillacs. It's so stupid it works. I just love it. The whole decades. You could say this of the 90s. The 90s, so stupid it works. There you go.
But you had the power-ups too, of course. The Capcom game there. So you build up your little meter there, and you'd use the power-ups.
I love it. Nicely done. Well, we both lost today.
We both lost.
We both get this right here. A big fat one of these. Hold on. Where is it? What? No. Hold on.
But you, the listener, won.
There. The listeners always win because they're here, exposing themselves to this trash. All right, let's do this next one, which is emails and texts. All right. This is good news because we love hearing from you people at home. PlayRetroShow@gmail.com. This is an email from Brian Graymore or Grimore. Oh. He is a co-founder of Grimoire Games LLC. Oh. Nice. Hey, guys, you don't need to read this on air, but I'm gonna. Ooh, yes, I've recently found the Play Retro Show on Spotify, and I just wanted to say that I'm really enjoying it. You two are really entertaining, and I hope the show continues for years to come. I especially appreciate Scott paying homage to his dad and the work he used to do on arcade machines back in the day. That's super cool. I'm curious to know which games you've sunk the most time into throughout your gaming careers, and I think retro playability would be a fun show topic. Super Metroid was my jam back in the day, and I rented that one many times until finally buying a copy at Shopko. Oh my gosh, Shopko.
Shopko.
I used to go there all the time.
Yes.
Doesn't exist now. No, anyway, it says, now I spend the majority of my time on rage-inducing games like Rocket League. I played my 10,000th match of that godforsaken game. I know, that's a lot, dude. He says he might need help. Anyway, on an unrelated note, I was just listening to the Activate Pac-Man episode, and Brian mentioned that his son is into board games. My wife and I had our own game publishing game a few years back. Game published a few years back. And I thought it'd be fun to send you one or both of you a copy if you're interested. If not, that's totally cool.
Totally.
But if you just say the word, I'll throw it in the mail for you. Anyway, thanks for reading this and keep up the excellent work. I'd love to see your game. That sounds great.
Absolutely, Brian. Show us your game. We do listen board games around here as well. The game that I played the most throughout my entire life is, there's just no way you could compete with Quake for me. I've played so many hours of Quake, decade to decade, and then Age of Empires after that. But yeah,
probably
PC gaming was always my jam.
It's probably a joint number, or they're probably close, but I think I played as much World of Warcraft as I played. I'd say Quake and Doom combined are kind of one big solid chunk of time for me because I played just nothing but that stuff back then. Yeah. So I think between those two and Warcraft, those are going to be the biggest slash plays of my life for sure.
I played, World of Warcraft for a couple of years was everything I played, but I jumped out.
See, I was like 15 years straight, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It's a lot of gaming.
That's a lot of Warcraft, my friend. That's a lot.
Yep. There's a lot of Half-Life mods. I used to play a lot of Quake mods. I used to play a lot of Unreal Tournament. I should mention that. That one's probably way up there.
Yeah.
Played a shit ton of Unreal Tournament. Yeah, there's those are ours. I think we're dudes of a certain age, so we come from a certain time in gaming for that. But his was Super
picking
Metroid.
Need for Speed, I've played just tons of Need for Speed games, just hour after hour, just going around in circles. Turn that way.
When I was a kid, I played a ton because we had the machine in the house. I played a ton of Missile Command and Crazy Climber. Those games have a lot of hours on them, but it's hard to say. I never really tracked them. But I don't know. There's so many games, dude. It's hard to nail this down. But I'd love to see your game as someone who is currently working on his second card game, which is getting close to being done over at what's the name of the damn thing? DungeonMurder.com.
Dungeon Murder.
You can go see progress on that.
Rock Runners is already out there, so you could get Rock Runners.
Yeah,
right?
you can get Rock Runners now. And I thought I brought it down here. I got the box in for Dungeon Murder, and I'm so happy with it. It looks so good.
Very good.
Anyway, thanks for writing in.
It sounds like we may be on the cusp of yet another podcast.
That's right. We very well could be. 801-471-0462 is how you can send texts and voicemails to us. We got one here from... Doesn't say, so I'll just read it. Hey, Play Retro guys. Would love to hear your thoughts on old Mac games, especially Crystal Quest, which was a favorite of mine. Great show. I would love to talk about vintage Mac gaming because there was a time there where that was the bomb. That's where you went.
There was a few. Yeah, for a while. There was a little time there that there was a select few games for the system, but they were all pretty good.
Yeah, they were all very good. First place I played Day of Defeat. First place that I played. Oh, geez.
Where on the World is Carmen Sandiego?
No, I never did that. It was an old black and white thing, though. Can't remember what it was, though. Oh, it was so good. There was something.
Crystal Quest Classic is on Steam currently for.
Oh, no way! Really?
Did you say Trackball or something? Video game from 1987.
That's the one in the arcade, isn't it?
Must be the arcade one. Is there a different one for Mac?
Hold on. Crystal Quest. I'm looking. Let's see. Crystal action game written by Patrick Buckland for the Macintosh, produced by Cassidy and Green. Was ported. This is 1987. Ported to the Apple II GS in '89. We're also Amiga, Game Boy, iOS, and Palm versions.
So it looks like it's the same game, just for a port.
It's not the arcade game, though, right?
Arcade game? It's not a port of the arcade game? I don't know.
I don't know now either.
It's a mouse-driven arcade game.
Let's see if there's a play-through deal. Just real quick here. Let's see. Crystal Quest, Mac, long play. Probably something. Oh, yeah, here we go. Mouse-driven game.
Oh, this looks like fun. Yes.
Yeah, this looks cool. Look at this. Little dog. Play different. Crystal Quest.
Got like vector graphics of some sort, looks like almost, but it's
hard to say.
Pretty different.
Okay, Quest.
I think you're looking at the one before that I looked at. Well,
this is on a color Mac, but maybe not. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at the next video.
Oh, yeah. No, this is it, I think. I remember this. I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 2GS version or which one is it? Which one's the black and white one that they had? That was
I don't know.
I can't remember.
But you played with a mouse, which is crazy at the time.
Yes, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, nobody was doing that.
No.
That was new business. All right. Well, anyway, I think we will. We'll do some sort of retro look at Mac games. I think that would be smart.
Mac games.
Some of the best ones, anyway. We got another quick text here from AJ in Provo. It says, during the Earthworm Jim episode, somebody said Jim's whip thingy. It says, I need to print out that whip. I need to point out that the whip is Jim himself. He pulls himself out of the suit and uses his body as a whip or a helicopter or a jump rope or whatever. It's one of the goofiest things in the game, and I love it. Love the show. Keep bringing back the nostalgic feels. Well, AJ in Provo, not far from me. I think we knew that. We know that that's Earthworm Jim. I just think when I say thing, I think I'm referring to the action itself. Like, oh, he's doing the whip thing.
But you're not wrong, AJ.
Yeah,
we did say Jim's whip thingy. And either one of us could have said it because I probably referred to it the same way. It's kind of a weird thought with Earthworm Jim because
it is weird.
The suit is almost sentient in itself, but is Jim operating it or is he working in tandem with some type of alien life form? It actually ask more questions than it answers.
Who's in charge of that suit, especially when he's out of it and the suit is using his body to whip things.
Right.
Does the suit function at all without the host? Like, there's a lot of questions there.
It does, because there's levels where is it 2 that you have to go retrieve the suit a couple of times? You'll be just a worm crawling on the ground to retrieve the body on another level. But I'm not sure if the robot's controlling itself. I don't know. It's an interesting question.
We intend to answer it, but maybe not today.
Maybe not ever.
Send us those texts. You can send voicemails as well if you guys want. It's super easy. Just send them to that number, 801-471-0462. Be happy to read them or play them on the show. And emails can keep coming to us at playretroshow@gmail.com. Next week, we are going to take the advice of Paul from the UK and cover the Wing Commander series, the old ones.
We're heading back to the PC, people. We haven't done a PC game in a minute. So.
Yep. Long before Star Citizen was a thing, that dude was making Wing Commander. And we'll talk about them. We'll get all the way up to like 3DO when they had Mark Hamill in there doing his business.
Doing his business. Hi, I'm Mark Hamill, and I'm doing my business.
I'm doing my business. What are you doing? Well, we're playing your game, and that'll be next week. The Wing Commander series. Back to the PC, everybody. That's where we're headed. So watch for that. In the meantime, I would like you all to head on over to patreon.com/playretro. Why? Because there's a bunch of reasons to join up. And you could ask somebody like, I don't know, brand new patron Junus Enola or Aaron Frost, who just joined us this week. They're fantastic people and are part of the growing family. Yes. So thank you guys both for joining us. If you would like no commercials ever, pre-show content every week, and other great benefits, go read all about them at patreon.com/playretro. It's cheap, it's easy, and you'll be supporting your favorite retro gaming podcast. Do it today. Me. That's right. And then when Brian needs weird wheels to attach to his desk, we can help get there,
Like I said, the plan is this weekend to kind of do a little video, maybe 15-minute video of my whole process of putting this steering wheel thing together, and also maybe a little gameplay. So patron, look for it.
That's right. Will we talk about the movie when we talk about Wing Commander? Maybe it might come up, like it did today for the stuff we talked about. We've done that movie on Film Sack and done it, a complete coverage of it. So we're not going to do that, obviously, but we'll talk a little bit about why the Wing Commander movie sucks so bad and why.
Maybe I'll watch Wing Commander while I play some Wing Commander this week. That shouldn't get it confusing.
Oh man, that causes cancer or something to do both those things.
It's not good.
Yeah, be careful. That'll do it for this and us this week. Thank you all for hanging out with us and joining us. Tell your friends. Show up live even. We do this show on Tuesdays. Today was a little different, but normally Tuesdays at 3:30 Mountain Time. And you can watch us live at frogpants.tv. That's it for us. For me, for Brian, for all of you, go play something retro. We'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
They stole your mind.
Oh, geez.